Hello game devs, welcome back to another GDevelop 5 tutorial. So today we'll be creating a rock scissors paper game in GDevelop 5. So this tutorial was requested by someone, and as usual you can also make your tutorial request and place it in the comment section below. So as usual, let's have a preview of what this would look like once we are done. So just open GDevelop and here we go. So this is actually the main scene, which is the menu. So just preview this. Okay, so here we go. This is the menu. This is the rock scissors paper hand. It's not the best but of menus, but we could use this. This could do for this tutorial. So the play button takes us to the main game scene, which is this. So we're actually playing with the computer. This is the computer and this is me presently. Okay, so let's go. Scissors and the computer 1. Okay, so let's go. Okay, I'm gonna try to win this round because, to be honest, I haven't won any round with the computer. And okay, the computer has a mind of its own. Seriously, it's super good at this. Okay, that's a 3 for the computer and 1 for me. Oh, 4. Wow, that's good. That's good. And I'm losing. Oh no. Whoa. Okay, so here we go. You get the computer 1, and that's the scissors. That's the name of the animation which the computer's using. That's 5 to 1. This is my score and this is the computer's score. Okay, so let's keep going. And I 1 and I'm at 2 and the computer's at 5. Okay, that's 3. Okay, I'm gonna try to win this one. Okay, that's 4 and okay, that's a tie. Let's go. Okay, I won. That's 5 and let's go. Okay, the computer won and it's back again. Okay, the computer won. That's a 7 to 5. Here we go. It's a tie. Once again, a tie. And 6 to 7. 8. Okay, and I'm losing again. Okay, 9, and I am sure I've lost this. Wow, the computer won and you can't beat me. Okay, so that's pretty much what it looks like. That's what the rock scissors paper game looks like in GDevelop, where we'll be creating it in a short while. And once we're done, I'll try my best to beat the computer again. Okay, so try again, restarts the whole scene, and the quits the whole editor, the whole preview. So let's minimize and open GDevelop 5. So today we'll be using the Node theme, and let's go create a new project. Let's start from scratch, empty game. So here we go, game settings. First of all, we need to go to our properties and let's fill in a name, which would be the rock and the scissors paper. Okay, sorry. What's wrong? Okay, here we go. So rock, scissors, paper and game. Okay, so we can fill in the version number, the game name right here. If we're exporting it, well, we'll just name this RPS, rock, paper, scissors, and author's name, the jam dev. Okay, so width, I will go with 1600 for the height, and project files, multiple files, apply there. Okay, so let's create a main menu. Add a new scene. We can add the scene by clicking on the click to add a scene, and let's rename that menu. Okay, so menu. Okay, let's open that. Now this is what the scene looks like. Before we add in objects, let's change the background color of our scene. We can do that by right clicking scene properties and right here. Okay, you can click this and let's set that to white. Okay, so now we have a white background for our scene. So let's add a new object and sprite, add an animation, add. Okay, so on the desktop, yeah, I have some animations here, which will be the rock and the paper and the scissors. You can download this sprites. The link would be in the description of this video. So go with rock first. So this would be for our menu. So okay, rock and then paper. Okay, and then scissors. Okay, so just name this animation. Okay, animation, and let's set that to loop and preview. So that's super fast. And now let's set to the frame per second. Okay, fast, and okay, this is perfect. Okay, now apply that, and let's pull this into the scene and rotate this to an angle of 90, and let's increase the size. Okay, that's good enough. Let's add this, which is the so let's add the name right here, which we have here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so add new object and text, which would be the game name, game underscore name, and I'll name this rock paper scissors, rock comma paper comma scissors, and make this okay. So rock paper scissors and game bold. Okay, I have a font right here on the desktop. There we go. Okay, so size, that's about 50. Yeah, let's use that. Okay, and pull this into the scene. So we have the font here. Okay, now let's add in a play button. Add new objects, text. So we're not using any we're not using sprites for the buttons, rather we're using a text. Well, this is just for the tutorial, so you can add in buttons, which would be much more preferable. Okay, so I'll name this play underscore button, and bold and size of about 30, and font size go with the Unisense Heavy TTF. Apply and pull this into the scene. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, now let's go to our events. We're actually done with this. Let's go to our events and add an empty event. Add a condition. Okay, this is the new events editor. So let's select the object first, which is the play button, and cursor of touch is on an object, which is the play button. Okay. Add a condition and mouse button released. Okay, mouse button release and buttons attached, the left ones. The cursor is on the play button and the left mouse button. So once this conditions take place, we need to change to the scene, but we need to create a scene first. So project manager, this is your project manager. Okay, so let's add a new scene, and I'll rename this. I think I'll name this main. Okay, so now let's go add an action, and once the cursor touches on play button and the left key is released, we need to change the scene. Sorry about that. Change the scene to the main scene. Okay, so let's preview this. So as you can see, this is the width 1000 and the height 600, and we have this in place. So this is now the main scene. That works perfectly. So let's go to our main scene, and this is what it looks like. This is where most of our gameplay will take place. Okay, so let's set a background color. Once again, you can do that by right clicking scene properties, and here we go, and white. Okay, so now we have this as a white background for our scene. Okay, so first of all, let's add in some objects. We need to add in the computer's rock paper scissors hand and the player's rock paper scissors hand. Also, we need to add a black mask, just like we have here. Sure about that. Okay, so just like we have here in our game. So we have this, which is black mask right here. We have the scissors, the paper, the rock. We also have the player's main animation, and we have our computer, and we have the text which displays the animation of the computer hand. We have our score, and so we need to add all of this, and most especially we have the text which displays who won the previous who won the match. Okay, so who won the round, sorry. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so first of all, let's add in okay, let's add in the player's animation, which are the rock paper scissors for the arm. Okay, so add a new object, sprite object. I'll name this rock rock. So rock, I'll name this icon because that's what our player would click on. Okay, so the rock icon, this is the rock, and okay, let's apply, add new object, sprite, rock, and this would be paper underscore icon, add an animation, add, here we go, paper, okay, apply, add new object, sprite, add an animation, add rock paper, and we need the scissors right here. So okay, scissors icon, okay, and apply. Now we have this three icons. Next up, let's add in what we gonna add, sorry, okay, so let's add in the computer's animation, then add in the player's animation. Okay, so add new objects, sprite, add an animation, add, okay, so rock, that would be the first animation, and add an animation, and add rock paper, okay, and the third animation, which would be scissors. Okay, so we'll name this computer animation. Okay, computer animation. Okay, so you must sorry, okay, you may have noticed that in mine we have the computer's animation or the arm switching between animation. Okay, here we go. So this this frame animation going on here, it's not actually separate animations, it's just one full animation which runs as frames. So to do that computer animation, we need to place an animation and add. So let's add in the rock, and okay, and the paper, okay, and the scissors. Okay, so set that to loop, and let's take this all the way to the top right here. So we have this here, and loop preview, so we have this, that's super fast, and let's bring it down all the way to 5. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so apply, let's put this into the scene, the computer animation right here, and let's rotate this to an angle of 180, and let's position that here 450 right there. Okay, so let's pull in our rock icon. Rock would go here, and the paper, rock and the paper would go 450, and the scissors at about 700. Okay, perfect. And for the Y, let's set that to 500, and okay, 500 would be good. 500, and 500 for the rock icon. 500. So we have that for the X of our rock. Let's set that to 200. Okay, that's perfect right there. Okay, so now we have our rock and the paper and the scissors icon, which our player would click on to activate the animation or the sprite which we're going to position here. So to do that, let's add in a new object, sprite, and let's name this user, or okay, player animation. Okay, so before we add this, okay, so as you can see, we have our player's animation with this X. If you pay attention to this, you would see that we have no animation for the animation 0 of our player's animation. That's why it's set to this red X. So that's the exact same thing we're gonna do here. So play animation, add an animation. Let's keep the first animation, which is the animation 0, and let's go to the animation 1. Add new object. So this would be rock. Okay, let's go, add an animation, and the rock, the paper, okay, and add an animation, and the scissors. Here we go. Okay, So that's perfect. Apply. Now let's put this into the scene right here and position this at about 450 right there, and let's take this up a bit, and that's perfect. Okay, so let's go back to our existing folder, sorry, right here. So now as you can see, we have the scores right here, the comp score and the player score. So let's create that in ours. Okay, so add a new object, text. Okay, let's position this, sorry about that. Okay, so let's add in our comp score. Let's go back, new object, so name this comp, it's actually the computer, so comp score. Okay, so let's set the initial text display to 0 and size, okay, 20, and font, let's go with a Unisons heavy and bold. Okay, size, I almost set that to 30. Okay. Okay, so let's position our comp score right here. So there we go. Now let's add in our player score. So add a new object, text. Sorry, that's the passcode. Sorry, just delete that. Delete. Okay, so add new object, text, and here we go. So name this players underscore score. Okay, initial text to display, 0, and size. Let's set that to about 30, bold, and the same font, the Unisons heavy TTF. Apply. Let's put this into the scene and position that right here. I think that's perfect. Okay, so that should do it. Okay, so next up, let's go back to our the one I made. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so here we have scissors name, which is the name displaying the current icon, scissors, paper, and rock. So let's add that to our project. Okay, so here we go. Add new object, and I'll name this text. Sorry about that. Delete. Okay. Okay, so add new object, and here we go. Text. Now name this scissors underscore sorry, scissors txt. Okay, scissors text and initial text scissors. Okay, so here we go. Bold, same font, the Unisons heavy, and the color, let's get some gray color. Okay, and apply. Let's put this into the scene right there. We can position it here. Okay, I'll just take out the bold, we don't actually need it. Okay, so it's more visible now. This is the scissors and this is the paper. So add a new object, text. This would be the paper underscore txt. Okay, so name this paper and color, let's go with the same color, and the font, the Unisons heavy. Apply. Let's put this into the scene. And there we go, we have our paper. Add new object. Now let's add in our rock text here, right here, rock underscore txt size 20, bold. No, we don't need bold. Let's get the color here and the same font, the Unisons heavy, and here we go, paper, sorry, rock. Okay, apply that, and let's put this into the scene. Now we have that there. So you may have noticed that we also have this text right here for our players for the computer to display the current animation of the computer. Well, you can see that during the preview. So make a quick preview right now. So there we go. That's the rock. So it's right there. Okay, so let's close that and return. Okay, so let's add in the text, add new object, text. Okay, let's name this. Okay, name, object's name, I'll name this comp underscore txt. Okay, same font, so it's the same font and the same color. And we can leave this blank, we don't actually need an initial text right here, so let's put this into the scene, and there we go. So that's its current position. Okay, so we also need a text, which is this text we have in the middle, which displays the winner of the current match right here, of the current round. So let's get that, add new object and text. So name this object's name, let's go with winner or who won. Okay, I'll name this winner. Okay, here we go. Winner underscore gameplay. Okay, I'll just name this play. Okay, so winner play during the game play. Okay, so that's the name of the text, and let's set that blank. And size, I think 30 would do. Bold and same font right there, apply. Okay, so just like we have here, we would have to modify the text of our winner gameplay and our comp txt to display the text we want. Okay, I think the final addition would be this black mask right here. Okay, so let's get that, add new object, sprite, add an animation, black mask. Okay, add an animation, and here we go, add. Here we go, it's on the desktop. Okay, so here we go, okay, apply. Let's pull this into the scene right here, and for the X, so that's 0, and let's stretch this out. Okay, so there we go, that's perfectly positioned. Let's take the Z order of this. Presently it's set to 13, so just take it down to a negative value. There we go, so now it's behind our icons. So let's have a preview of this. So there we go, it works perfectly so far. Now we need to add some events to add some functions to it. So let's close that, go to our events. Okay, so let's add an empty event and let's begin. So first of all, we need to set the animation of our play animation to the current icon clicked on. So let's go to our events. Let's start with the rock. Okay, so add a condition cursor. So we need to select the icon, so the rock icon and touch. So the cursor or touch is on an object, which is the rock icon. Okay, and mouse button is released. Okay, so mouse button released and button to test left. Okay, there we go. Now we need to set the animation of our play animation to the rock animation, which is currently the animation 1. We have a rock, paper and scissors. Animation 1 for rock, animation 2 for our paper, and animation 3 for the scissors. So let's go. So rock, and change the animation. Once again, we need to select the animation of our play animation and change the animation of player, set that to 1. So once the left mouse button released and the cursor touch is on the right rock icon, it changes it to the player animation 1, which is the rock animation. So add an empty event. Let's just copy this, copy and paste once more. So there we go. Now cursor touch is on rock. We already have rock, so next would be the paper. There we go, cursor touch is on the paper. Set the animation of play animation to 2. Okay, so once the touch is on scissors, there we go, it would set the animation of player to 3. Okay, so there we go. Let's have a preview of this. So there we go, that works. There we go, it sets the animation to the current, to whichever icon we click on. Okay, so there we go. Next up, let's select an animation for our computer once the one of the icons is clicked on. So let's go back to our events and add a condition. Okay, so to make this work, let's get a scene variable. So about that scene variable, value for scene variable, let's set that to progress. Okay, so progress sign set to value 1. Okay, so once the scene variable progress is set to 1, we would give an animation, a random animation for our computer. So for this, now once the cursor touch or once the left mouse button is released, we need to set the progress in variable to 1. So by default it would be set to 0. So let's just copy this, copy and paste and paste and paste. So let's set this progress to 0. So there we go. Once again, set this 0, and here we go. Once again. Okay, so we have that. Now once the mouse button is released, we need to set it to 1. So scene variable, value of a scene variable, progress sign set to value 1. Okay, so this sets it to 1. And now once it's set to 1, we needed to pick a random animation from our computer. So here we go. We would pick from all the way from 1 to 3, because this is just the animation 0 is the animation which loops around. Okay, so let's go. Let's invent. So once the scene variable progress is set to 1, add an action. Let's go. Computer animation and animation. Change the animation sign set to value. Let's get a random. Okay, so random in range of 1 comma space 3. Okay, which is the first animation and which is the minimum. We have the minimum as the first animation and the maximum as the third animation. Okay, so there we go. Now preview. So here we go. Okay, something's not right. Okay, let's get a 3 go once. We don't want this going random, so 3 go once. Wow, this is true. Okay, preview. Sorry about that. So here we go. Now that stops, and here we have a thigh. Okay, so let's close that. Now let's get our text right here. So close that, and okay, but before that, let's get this a loop. So once after a certain period of time, it goes back to the rock scissors paper. To do that, let's get a timer right here. So once the scene variable progress is set to 1, change the animation of computer animation to random in range 1 all the way as the minimum value and 3 as maximum value. And also let's get a scene timer. Here we go. Value of sorry about that. Something's not right. Okay, here we go. Start or reset a scene timer. Timer's name, I'll name this round. Okay, so this would actually be a new round. Okay, so now add an empty event, add a condition, and scene variable. Sorry, scene value for scene timer. Once the timer, this is actually the seconds it would take to set a whole new round. So set that to 3 seconds, and the timer's name, which would be round. Okay, so now once the timer round is greater than 3 seconds, we need to set the animation or the scene variable all the way back to 0 for all this to take place. So just copy this and paste that. So it would set the scene variable progress all the way back to 0. So let's go preview. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the reason why it's not changing, it's because we already have we have the animation of the computer animation, or we have the animation of the computer animation set to a random, a value of 1 and 3. So once the scene variable progress is set to 0, we need it to set the animation all the way back to 0. So at the top, I'll create an empty event, add a condition. So scene variable, value for scene variable progress sign set to value 0. So once this is set to the value 0, we need first of all to change the animation. Once again, let's go back on player animation. We need to change the player animation to here we go, change the animation sign set to value 0. So that's it. We need to change the player's animation all the way to 0. Copy and paste, and we also need to set the computer animation. So just copy this and computer animation all the way back to 0. Same. So preview. So here we go. There. Okay, so there we go. It set this all the way back to 1, which is the loop, and here we go again. and that's a thigh, and again, and here we go. So now it works. After 3 seconds it goes back all the way to a new round. Okay, so close this. Next up, we need to declare a system which would know if it's a thigh, if you won or the computer won. And first of all, to do that, let's get an empty event, and we need to use the scene variable progress is set to 1, because once the progress is set to 1, add a sub condition. Okay, so I'll just add a comment here, so because this is really tricky, so just add a comment which would be rock and scissors and paper. Okay, and add some other empty events. Okay, so here we go. Now let's add a condition. First of all, we need the if or okay, advanced, which is return true if one of the subconditions is true. Sorry, we need and return true if all subconditions are true. So we need to declare a thigh. So and okay, so once the animation of this, which is the play animation, once it's set to 1 and the animation of our computer animation is set to 1, which it would be a thigh. So once add a condition animation, sorry about that, so the animation of the computer animation sign is animation is set to current animation is set to value 1, and copy this and paste, and we have our players animation set to 1. That would be a thigh. So now also once just copy this and paste. So once the number of current animation of the computer animation is set to 2, which is the scissors, so set to 2, sorry, which is the paper 2, and just set this. Okay, so once it's set to 2, that's also a thigh. And once again, if this animation is set to 3, and this is also set to 3, we'd also have a thigh. Now we don't want all this happening, we don't want all these conditions to be true before we display the text. Rather, we would place this in an if, which is the or. Okay, so if all the conditions are true, if one of the conditions are true, so just copy this and make this a subcondition of the if. Okay, so there we go. Now if one of these conditions are true, if it's set to 1 1 2 2 or 3 3, we would modify a text. We select the text, which is the winner gameplay text, modify the text, and sign set to value. Let's set that to it's a thigh. Okay, so there we go. Now once all this are true, it would set the text winner gameplay to it's a thigh. Let's preview. Here we go. Okay, let's hope we can get a thigh. Okay, it's not working now. Oh yeah, there we go. We have a thigh, so it's a thigh. Now that's a thigh. Next up, let's set some animations or some events for our computers. So whichever set the animations which our computer would be able to beat our players. So right now we have the rock. Okay, rock is a thigh. Rock paper wins, and rock scissors, and the rock wins. So let's go to our events. Here we go. Once again, add the condition and, which is the advanced, and okay, so add a subcondition. Once the computer animation current animation is set to the value which is equals to 1, which is the rock. So once the animation of the computer animation is set to 1, so you have to everything we're filling in this code or in this event has to be in favor of the computer. So once the animation of the computer animation is set to 1, and which is the rock, and the animation of, here we go, player, about that. player animation is set to, okay, one, we have rock and paper. Rock cannot cover rock. Okay, rock is a thigh, rock paper. The rock cannot be the paper, so rock scissors. So we have that. So once it's set to 2, which is the, okay, sorry, 3, which is the rock, which is the scissors. So we set, let's modify text, which is a winner gameplay text, modify the text and sign set to value the computer 1. Okay, computer 1, let's set that. Okay, so there we go. Now once this is in favor, once the animation is set to 1 and this play animation is set to 3. Also I think we also have one more. There we go, we'll just copy this and paste. Okay, so once our animation set to paper, I think paper covers rock, so once the animation of the computer animation is set to which is 2, sorry, which is 2, which is paper covers rock, and the animation of player animation is set to 1. Also, it would change this and set it to computer 1. Also, there should be one more scissors goes through paper. So once the animation, computer animation is set to 3, and the player animation is set to, here we go, rock paper, and set to paper, which is 2, or player or also wins. So the computer wins. So this everything in this event is in favor of our computer. So let's do 1 for our player. So to save time, let's just copy that and paste that right here. So here we go, number of current animation of, set this to player, or we could just replace this, so you don't have to do this, but we just want it to be similar to this. Okay, so once the animation of player animation is set to 3, as we have 3 as scissors, and the scissors goes through the rock. No, scissors cannot go through rock, so just set this to, rather, rock goes through scissors, so 1 and 3. Okay, so here the animation of play animation set to 1. No, that would be 2, which is a rock, scissors, this is scissors, and this would be the paper, sorry, rock paper, this is the paper, and this would be the scissors. So there we go, 2, and this would be 3, and this would be something's not right. Okay, this would be 1. I think I mix it up. No, go back, back. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so here once again this would be 1, and this would be the player animation. We would set that to 3, and the computer animation set that to 2. Okay, so for the text, we'll change the text of winner gameplay to you won. Okay, so there we go, you won. Okay, so let's have a preview. This is a thigh, computer 1, and you won. Let's preview this. Okay, something's not right here. Okay, let's review our events. Okay, let's place all this. I think, yeah, that's the problem. We need to place all this in an OR condition. So OR, and okay, let's take this and paste it here once again, so that here, and once again, so this here. So we have that placed in this. So add a condition. Once again, let's add this into an OR. So return true if one of this is true. Okay, so there we go. Once again, and okay, so we're placing all this as a sub condition of the if or the OR condition. So preview that. So there we go. It's a thigh, and there we go. Computer 1, and okay, so here we go. Now let's take out this text once this is done. So as you can see, we can do that easily by scrolling all the way to the top here. Once this sets the scene variable progress to 0, so once the scene variable progress is set to 0, let's modify this text, which is the winner gameplay, and let's modify this and set it to let's just clear everything. So double quote sets it to an empty text. Okay, preview that. Okay, so here we go, U1, and here we go, computer 1, and here we go, and the computer 1. Okay, so next up, let's display the text of our computer, which is this text right here, to display the current animation of our computer. So to do that, we can easily set that. So add a condition once the animation, once again, the computer animation, and once the animation of the computer current animation sign set to value 1. So once it's set to 1, that would set the animation, that would set the text of here we go, the comp text, and modify the text sign set to value. So we have our first animation as a rock, so that would set this to rock. Okay, so just copy and paste and paste. So once animation set to 1, animation set to 2. So once animation set to 2 rock, that would set it to paper, which is the second animation. So paper, and once it's set to 3, we can set the text to the scissors. So there we go. Okay, so let's preview this. So here we go, scissors, and there we go. So once again, let's take this text out. As you can see, the gameplay text goes out once a whole new round starts, and let's do the same thing. So all we need to do is come all the way up here, and once the scene variable progress is set to 0, paste this. Let's set this, the computer text, to an empty text. So that would set it to preview. There we go. So rock, this is a rock, and that goes out once again. Here we go. So now we need to set our score. This would be our comp score, and this is our player score. We can do that easily by creating a scene variable right here. So this is for our rock, and this is for our computer, and this is in favor of the computer, and this is in favor of the player. So for the computer, add an action scene variable. Let's create a scene variable. I'll call this comp underscore score. Okay, that's a scene variable, so set that to the value. We need to add 1, so that would add 1 to it. Okay, now for our player, let's get a scene variable. Value for scene variable player underscore score sign add value 1. So that will add 1 there. Now let's modify a text, which is this text we created right here, the player score and the comp score. So we'll modify the text to go with the variable string of the player score and the comp score. So add an action, so modify, let's select the text, here we go. So player score, and modify the text sign set to with a variable, here we go, variable string of player underscore score. Close that, and there we go. So now this would get the variable or the data of the player score variable and modify the text of the player score. So once again, let's do that again, but this would be for our comp score. So just modify the text of the comp score sign set to the value of the variable string of comp underscore score. Close that, and okay, so let's preview this. There we go, it's a fly, so no one gets a point. There we go, it's a fly, no one gets a point. There we go, it's a fly, no one gets a point. Okay, so as you can see, this keeps on adding. We need to add a trigger once. Okay, so we can do that. Let's get here, add a condition, trigger once. So trigger once this is true. Copy and paste it here. So once one of these conditions is true, it would trigger once, and it would add 1 to the variable comp score, which would modify the text. Okay, so here we go, 1, I won, so I get 1 score, and the computer gets none. Okay, I get 2, and the computer gets none. That's good. Okay, so now let's So you may have noticed at the end of ours, we had this text displaying which is the winner score, which we had this displaying, hey, you can't beat me, champ, which is the computer telling me I can beat it because I programmed it to work that way. So let's get that here. So now to do that we need to get a layer. So let's create a whole new layer, and I'll name this final. Okay, yeah, I'll just name this final, and let's hide our base layer so that takes that out. And let's create some objects, add new objects. So add a text, which would be, I'll name this okay, this would be the text, so this would be player underscore 1. So you can write in your custom text here like you won, or you beat the computer. Okay, so you can just write that there. Bold, size 30, 40, 50, fonts, let's go with the default fonts or the fonts we're using. Okay, something's not right. Okay, so it's placing that on our base layer, so we need to set that to the final layer and take that out again. So there we go, you won, that's the text we get. And if the computer eventually wins, we get the computer won text, computer won. Okay, so there we go, size 50 and bold. Okay, so here we go, computer 1 underscore 1. Okay, apply that, and let's put this into the scene. We can place this directly above this. Once again, it's right here. Sorry, let's set the fonts. There we go. Okay, apply that and layer, final layer, and let's take the base layer out, and we can position this above this, like directly above this. Okay, so there we go. Now let's add in a try again and a quit button. So add new object and text. I'll name this again. Sorry about that, again. Okay, so text, and let's set this, let's set the initial text to try again. Try again, or again. Okay, because just say that to try again. Bold, font, let's set the font, and size 30. Apply and put this into the scene. Once again, it's on our background layer or the base layer, so let's change the layer to the final layer and take out the base layer. So there we go, that's the try again, and let's add in the quit button. So text and quit. So there we go, bold, size 30, fonts that, and here we go, I'll just set this to quit. Okay, apply and pull this into the scene. Once again, we have this on our base layer, so I'll just set that layer final, and there we go. So now we can position this, and we have this as our game over page. Okay, so let's go to our events. I'll just hide that and make our base layer visible. Let's go to our events. Okay, so to decide who wins the match, we need to create a scene, or we need to get the scene variable, and we need to set a target, which will be then. So scene variable, add a condition. Okay, I'll just copy the scene variables right here. Okay, where the variables, okay, the score variables, we have the scene variable, comp score, and the player score. So add an action, or which is if one of the conditions are true, this would be the target. So the scene variable, value of the scene variable, player score sign set to value 10. So if this is set to 10, or copy that, copy and paste, or we have our computer score, comp score scene variable set to 10. Let's add the subcondition. So once this two are true, and add a condition and the scene variable, value of a scene variable, the comp score underscore score, the comp score scene variable is greater than the player score, the variable. Here we go, the variable player score. Okay, so once this is greater than the variable player score, now this would be in favor of the computers. Once this is greater than the variable, player score, add an action. We need to make the layer visible, so visible, sorry, layer. Here we go. So hide a layer, let's hide the base layer, okay, and copy and make our final layer visible. So, and we need to hide the text, so hide the player 1 text, so hide that. Okay, so that would hide this text. Okay, so now add an empty event once again. So once the scene variable, now this would be in favor of our players. So once the scene variable, player underscore score, sign of test is greater than, sorry, that's less than, that's greater than the variable player, the variable, sorry, the variable is greater than the variable comp underscore score. Okay, so once this is true, add an action, let's hide the layer, base layer, and show the layer, copy, paste, and show the layer, final, that's a hide, and show that, same here, show that. So that would hide the base layer and show the final layer. Once again, same here, it would hide the base layer and show the final layer, and add an action, so this would hide the again text. Here we go. Okay, this will hide the computer 1 text, hide. Okay, it would hide the computer 1 text and set the, it would just leave us with the U1 text. Okay, so that's it. Now for our main for buttons, try again and quit. So add an action, quit, which would be the quit, and the cursor or touches on an object with yes, and the mouse button released. Okay, so now this is where a lot of people make mistakes. So I once made this mistake back then. Now once you try this, and if you set this to quit and close, sorry, quit the game. So if you set this, now once our mouse is on the quit button and the left key is released, it would quit the game. It doesn't matter if the layer is visible or not. So we need to make our layer visible. So this would only take place once the layer so visibility of the layer once the layer final is visible, or else if our player is in the main scene, which is our player is playing the game during the gameplay, if our player hovers around the quit button and clicks and releases the left mouse button, it quits the game. So this would make sure it's only when the final layer is visible, and the final layer only takes place once the comp score is greater, or once the scores are set to 10. Okay, so add an empty event. Here we go, add a condition, and again, and the cursor or touches on an object, okay, and the mouse button released, left, the left mouse button is released, and the layer is visible, visibility of the layer, and this, the layer final is visible. Okay, so there we go. Now once this is true, add an action, change the scene to the main scene. Okay, so that's all, and let's go to our main and preview this. Okay, so I'll try to pick the computer this time. So let's go. That's a thigh, paper, and paper. There we go. So I1, that's 1 0, and there we go. I1 2. Okay, the computer 1 again, that's the computer 1, scissors, paper, there we go, scissors, rock, the computer 1, and there we go, rock on, okay, I1, so there we go, rock and rock, that's a thigh, and okay, I1, that's 4 to 2 for our computer, there we go, 5, and I1, and it's a thigh. There we go, 3, the computer 1, paper to rock, and scissors, it's a thigh, and let's keep going, so I1. Okay, so there we go, it's a thigh, and let's keep going. Okay, so the computer 1, and I'm at 6, and the computer is at 4. Wow, I'm winning. So it's a thigh, and there we go. So 7 and 4. Okay, so I'm gonna win this one. Let's go. Okay, that's 9 to 4, and hopefully I would win the next. There we go. So rock and rock, that's a thigh, and okay, so I won, and there we go. That's how to create a rock, paper, scissors game in GDevelop 5. I am so happy I beat the computer for the first time ever. Okay, so hope you can beat the computer also, and hope you find this tutorial useful. Thanks for watching.